Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our December 2025 meeting of the Media Education Lab. My name is Wes Fryer, and today's session is called Holiday Tech Gadget Wish Lists. But what you might not have known is I've used Notebook LM to basically do some data analysis with these six different articles that um, we have in our links for this episode. And so, what I'm hoping that we'll do is discover some new tech things that might relate to us as media literacy educators, but we're also going to use this as an example of how we can use a tool like Notebook LM to basically be able to query it and use some AI tools to do that. So, as usual, we are going to invite you to use the chat and tell us who you are and where you're coming from. I'm a middle school media literacy teacher here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and excited to have our last week of classes this week, and we've got some finals next week. If you'd like to, for fun, let us know if you've been naughty or nice this year. We celebrate different holidays. Not everybody celebrates Christmas, but that's kind of a one question, a secular question that people will ask. Um, I'm going to share some announcements about upcoming events in the lab, and then we'll go into a bit of an overview. We have a pretty small group tonight. This is um, a week off our normal week. There was a request that we move this from the first Monday. And so anyway, who knows? It's a busy time, finals and all kinds of things are happening. So this session is being recorded. And if we don't have, if we still remain a small group, we may not go into breakout rooms. But what I'll do during the breakout room time, I don't know. Usually we pause that, and so we'll just kind of see how that goes. But be aware that we are recording this, and if we just stay in one room, we might just go ahead and record. But the idea is to play with the tools a little bit and give everyone a chance to kind of play. So you can go to the slides for this session by going to the following link, and I'll go ahead and type this into the chat. This is a shortened URL, and so it's just wfryer.me/media club. That link should take you to a Google Doc, which is a comprehensive Google Doc of all the sessions since October of 2023, I think, when I started facilitating for the lab, and that includes the link to the slides. And you'll definitely want that because I have links in the slides, which I'll drop into our chat as well. In fact, maybe I'll just put the slides in here too. I've got links that directly go to, I can click the right link, our notebook that I've shared, that I created with Notebook LM, and then it also will link to a spreadsheet that I've created. So anyway, feel free to go ahead and check that out. I've also got a link in here if you want to basically to share where you share. One of the things I'd love to see us do more of in the Media Education Lab is just, connect beyond the webinars. And so there's different ways that we can do that. But I shared this for the first time last month. And by sharing your links, whether you share on LinkedIn or Facebook or Mastodon or Blue Sky or wherever, I'm going to go ahead and create a shared sheet that has those links, and I've been doing some vibe coding lately, and I may do basically some kind of little online web page where we can connect with each other and maybe filter stuff. I've been playing with some what is it called? Microsoft Firebase is a database, and so making little simple database enabled web pages. But anyway, we'll share it, and the idea is we hopefully can connect with each other. So there are quite a few events on the calendar coming up in December as well as January for the lab. Coming up on December 12th, there is a free webinar on media mindfulness, and I know that wellness and mindfulness is definitely vital, and I am really working on that myself to try and make sure I'm not overwhelming myself with the news feed. On December 17th, there'll be a Media Ed Graduate Symposium webinar on empowering citizens of the AI age. And then one more, no, those were the ones in December. And then in January, we've got a review of article, New Models for Academic Peer Review. And this is a discussion with the editors of JMLE. And then on January 14th, there is a presentation about analog tactility for digital literacy. So all of those events you can find by going to mediaeducationlab.com/events. And all of those do happen to be free events. And there will be more coming in the new year. The forum, there were some different changes that have been made to some of the events for the lab. And so the multi-day event that was in January of last year, they're looking for a new date for that. And I think it's going to be a merger with the Northeast Media Literacy organization. And so anyway, more information will be coming with that, but all of that is on events. Before I go into the Notebook LM sort of analysis of these holiday tech gifts or tech ideas, I wanted to point out this is kind of cool. We now have this new option in Chrome that just happened this week called Open in Split View. So let me show you really quick what that means. If I click here on this link and I choose to open something in a split view, so I have to be in a web page. Here was the first article I recommended. This is the Wirecutter, and you can choose open link in split view. And then look at that. It keeps my original page over here, but then this is the link that I've created. So that is kind of cool for some different reasons. One might be to have a Google document. So if I wanted to, have a new Google doc.new, I can go ahead and just have that open up here. And anyway, I've done some things with split view and the iPad and things like that. But that's your like tech freebie for today. That's like a brand new thing I happen to notice. And as we are annotating things and reading the web and saving stuff, that's something I'm going to be, giving a try. So by sort of a show of hands, or just if you want to put it into the chat, how many of you use Notebook LM today? Is anybody using it? Yes or no? One of the first, so Tom's saying no, and Nat's shaking her head. One of the first tools that we talked about when I started facilitating for the Media Education Lab back in, I think, October of 23 was this tool. And am I saying that right? Maybe it was in 24. I've been doing this a little over a year. So I think that was October of 2024. And of course, we can go back to our events. All these things are archived. But truly, I think Notebook LM, if we want to talk about holiday gifts, sharing powerful tools with folks and just becoming aware of a new thing that can really like change our lives. I put this in this category, and I don't say that lightly. I did appreciate earlier this week, I was on a webinar with some media literacy educators through the lab, and one of them was pointing out that in some cases, there's a difference between folks who are passionate about media literacy and those who are just kind of passionate about technology or ed tech. And sometimes at conferences and things, there can really be like, oh, I mean, Gary Steger calls, ISTE the boat show. I mean, there's this whole thing about what the latest and greatest flashy gadget is. But as media literacy educators, we're really concerned about the skills that we can apply to interrogate media, to understand an audience, to develop our capacities to not only better understand, but also better utilize and even create ourselves and help our students create media. I put this in the category, and that's why I'm going to demonstrate it today and then invite you to play with it a little bit. And so Notebook LM has a free tier that's pretty generous, and I don't pay for it currently. I have a link to Jeremy Kaplan's about 12-minute video summary on his Substack. And again, this is why the slides are good, so you can click on it. And actually, a shout out to my friend Lucy Gray, who shared this on Substack. It's just a great summary of the tools and the new features that Notebook LM can do. So since we covered this back in October of 24, there's powerful stuff you can do that you couldn't do before. So in a free account without paying anything, you can load up 50 sources in a free notebook. And so what I have done today is taken those 6 articles about holiday gift guide, holiday tech gadgets, and I've put them in a notebook. Now, I've already done that work for you. I'm going to give you that link so that you can access it. In a free account, I have not hit my limit yet. You can have up to 100 free notebooks. If you pay for it, you can have up to 300 sources in one notebook, and I haven't done that. But here's what I did with my free account. I went ahead and made a PDF of each one of these articles, and like some of them are 22 over 20 pages long. So now I don't know, this is probably 40, 50 pages. I'm not sure exactly the total number, but it's six different documents all in a PDF format, and I simply put them into a new quote notebook. Over here on the right, under the studio, these are some of the new things that Notebook LM can do. And it really is powerful to query a library that we curate and put together ourselves, rather than just asking ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, based on your training data, which we really don't know what that is, give us an answer. I will tell you that since our last webinar, I have stopped paying for ChatGPT and I am all in with Gemini Pro. I have been reading a lot of reviews and I've had incredible results, like for my lessons, creating infographics and visual summaries for my students. So anyway, when we did this original Notebook LM session, basically the only choice here of these 8 choices was audio overview. And that's very powerful. That's, give it a query and you don't have to tell it a prompt. You can just say, make an audio overview. But last year in the spring, I taught 2 sections of AP Computer Science because we had a colleague depart. And I had a student with a concussion and she couldn't use her screen. She needed materials in other formats. So I took some of our instructional materials for AP Computer Science and I made audio summaries of those documents and of those, in some cases, videos with transcripts. We got to be careful, right? All artificial intelligence, LLM produced materials are subject to what is anthropomorphically called a hallucination. These are not, sentient and conscious entities. This is a program. These are algorithms. And so we really need to fact check. But what I have found, and so this is, I'm acknowledging that. But what I have found is that the results of Notebook LM, when you're specific and you say, here, these are the 6 articles I want you to look at, I want you to parse, make me a data table and analyze these, it can be very powerful. And so in addition to audio interview, you can now select a report, an infographic, a video overview, flashcards, a mind map, a quiz, and a slide deck. Now it was taking a while because full disclosure, I didn't get this done in a long time in advance, and so it was still churning away. So we'll see what it's come up with in terms of a slide deck. But in these 6 articles, there's over 100 different tech tools, and I really didn't want it to do 100. I wanted it to. I asked it to filter. But that's powerful, and hopefully we'll get to show that, and you'll get to check that out. So here is the first prompt that I gave to Notebook LM, and I made this into a spreadsheet, and and it's in the actual slideshow. So I'm going to click on it here. This is it. This is the slideshow that I had it create. So this link is in the slideshow. I'll drop it into the chat. So this is one of the links and artifacts that you can play with in our session today that I'm going to encourage you to check out. And so this is what I asked it. I said, please create a comprehensive data table of all the recommended gadgets included in these 6 PDF documents. And I told it the 5 columns that I want. Now, it didn't do a great job on the web links. I wanted direct links that we could go ahead and click. It just kind of gave me the source of that. And this is something I found with all of my AI interactions is I almost never get right out of the box something amazing. I go back and forth and I iterate with it. And I was going to start with this, and I didn't start with this. I do think we need to acknowledge that there are folks who are completely opposed to the use of any AI tools at all. The ethics of AI use, it's important that we acknowledge that, and I think that we respect that. I'm listening to Karen Howe's book, The Empire of AI, right now. And oh my gosh, it's kind of the story of ChatGPT, especially, but Claude and just the genesis of what's happened in the past 5 years with these tools. And there are some really big environmental problems, ethical problems, copyright. There's a long list of them. So I didn't say that at the beginning, and I want to throw that out there to say, even as I'm giving my students an assignment and I'm giving them the option of using AI, I am giving them that option. Most of my middle schoolers, I don't think realize, they could conscientiously object to the use of AI. In fact, I think a lot of kids may not know that. But it's important to acknowledge and give the option. So you, of course, you're free to just read the articles today and share what you might have discovered. But I think this is it's sort of a teachable moment. It's an opportunity to use these tools. The follow-up question, because it generated this list, and I guess I could go ahead and show this to you. So this is my conversation with Notebook LM, okay? And this, by the way, this notebook, I guess I should give you that link. You can go ahead and access. So here is the link. I'll copy it and paste it in. You can access this notebook. And to demonstrate that, let me open it on another account. You do have to log in, but this is my school account. And so if I open up this notebook that I created with Notebook LM, these six different these six different articles are all loaded up here in the library. And so you have an opportunity to interact with it. You can, quote, ask this library whatever question you would like to ask. And so my chat that I've had with it is not part of what has been shared. But here under sharing, I went ahead and changed this. So instead of restricting notebook access, I said, yes, anyone with a link can have access to it. And I had to decide what to let them do. Do I want them to have the full notebook or the chat only? And I said the whole thing. So that's the link that's in our slideshow, and that's the link that I have provided you and invite you to take a look at. So I asked it to create that, and it did. Okay, it's long. It's like, I think, 117 different items. It categorized these. So I've got gaming and entertainment, wearables, computers, phones, and productivity, smart home and household, health, wellness, and grooming, photography and creative tools, accessories, novelty, and high-end future tech. So I didn't ask for that, but it went ahead and did that. And my follow-on prompt was, I said, can you please put that into a Google Sheet for me? And then also include another column as column 2 and put that category so that we'll be able to work with that. I don't know about you, but I would love to have more data analytics in my media literacy classes. Analytics is one of the words in my department's name, ideas, and it's still somewhat aspirational because we don't have pure courses on data analytics. But being able to have things in a data table and then being able to sort them and being able to filter them and work with that data, it's really, really powerful. And being able to take unstructured data, and as an example, these links for this session, okay, there's 6 links here, being able to take that and then put that into an LLM and then ask it to produce data, it can be powerful. We got to check it. We still got to check it. It can be wrong. It does make mistakes. It does hallucinate. This is interesting. It created this comma separated data block. And so what it asked me to do, again, this is kind of a good skill, I guess, to help students and teachers have, is it asked me, I don't scroll down too far, to copy that data. It didn't make the sheet directly. And then it said, so I'm going to highlight all that data and I'll copy it. And then I'm just going to make a new sheet. So I'm going to type sheet.new. And here's a new sheet. And when I pasted it in, it gave me the instruction. It said, go to data and choose split data to columns. So again, being able to work with data, being able to manipulate it, this is something that these tools can give us an opportunity to do. Okay, so you've got that spreadsheet. You can play with that during our breakout time. Here's what I asked next. I said, we're media literacy teachers. Please identify the 10 gadgets listed and included in this whole sheet of like 117 things that you think would appeal most to media literacy educators of any age, and that we're interested in not just surviving, but thriving in our digital age rife with misinformation, malware, and propaganda. And I asked it for a data table with these 3 columns: the name of the gadget, a brief rationale, okay, why is it good, and then a web link to learn or buy more. All right. So that's kind of cool. Now, I'm not saying that these are necessarily the answers. It's just interesting to play with these tools and filtering information like this. We can be filters for each other, and we can use a variety of different tools to filter. So I have created this as sheet 2. I'll go ahead and rename this, media literacy selections. Um, and here we'll do a quick little vote in the chat. So here are the 10 things that this notebook LM said was probably, of interest to a media literacy educator. There's a bunch of these I haven't heard of before. Brick Friend, I've heard of the Ray-Ban Meta Smart glasses. Daylight DC, I hadn't heard of this tablet. Rabbit R1, Fire Framework Desktop, Camp Snap, Boox, if you pronounce it that way, Boox, Plasma 2 Pro, RNet, CO2 monitor, and Kindle ColorSoft. So would anybody like to vote? I'm just going to bring one up. So if you want to, you can either say it if you want to unmic, or if you just want to, and I could choose one, but yeah, just choose one. And it could be something you have no idea about at all.
Camp
Anybody want
Snap.
to say it one more time?
Camp Snap. It's number
Camp
8.
Snap. There you go. Okay. So the brief rationale, remember I asked for that with Notebook LM. It says it's a screen-free digital camera that mimics vintage film. It helps students learn about intentionality in media creation, removing the immediate gratification of checking a screen and the algorithmic pressure of others and editing. So I'm going to go ahead, copied too much. I'm going to go ahead and just copy that and paste that into Google. And so here is its website, Camp Snap Photo. Oh, wow. Look at that. Retro. There's the story to learn a little bit more about it. Huh, how interesting. No playback screen, reusable and rechargeable. Wow. So I teach a lesson that we're just wrapping up on the moon landings and whether it was a moon hoax. And one of the things that we've just been talking about is how, like, the technology, of 1969 was so old school. So I'm finding this interesting to think about. I'm going to go ahead and copy this link. If you make a copy of this spreadsheet, you will not be able to get this updated version. But I'm going to go ahead and say insert link, and I'll paste the link. And so now I've got this link to Camp Snap. I'll probably do that for the other ones as well. That's cool. Somebody want to choose another one that we'll do really quick? I had not heard of that before. I'm going to choose one. I'm going to choose the tablet, this Daylight DC1. So this says it's a tablet designed to break tech addictions with paper-like display that works in sunlight, useful for demonstrating calm technology and the impact of blue light and high refresh rate screens on the brain's dopamine. I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I justified a more caring computer, I justified getting a Kindle Paperwhite a few years ago. Well, maybe it goes back even further. My friend Bob Sprankle, who has passed away, he talked about how distracting the iPad, of course, can be, and how getting something that's more single use can be beneficial from a distraction standpoint. So interesting. DC1, a new kind of computer designed for focus and well-being, and it's called Daylight Computer. I don't think I screen shared. Okay, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to stop my share. And I'm going to screen share again, but I'm going to check the box that says share sound and optimize. And let's see if we can, give me a thumbs up if you can hear the video here in just a second. Can you?
Yep.
This is
we can hear it.
Great.
It's not here to change your life. But it might change the way you think about screens. It's a tablet, but it's not like the others. The live paper display is different. It moves, it flows, it feels almost alive, like a magical piece of paper. Daylight doesn't scream for your attention. It's quiet, calm, patient. It's there when you need it, but it doesn't beg to be used. It's a tool, not a master. helps you focus, but it doesn't dictate your focus. It doesn't try to consume you. Daylight is just less. Less distraction, less addiction, less eye strain, less blue light. So you have more time, more focus, more room to breathe. If you want technology that feels a little bit more human, a bit less demanding, daylight is here.
Okay, so to be clear, this webinar is in no way sponsored by the Daylight Computer. I actually did not know about that until doing this activity. It was surfaced for me to be aware of as a result of this activity. Let's respond to that a little bit. Anybody have any thoughts that they would be willing to share? Um, do you
I'll,
struggle with? Yeah, go ahead,
I,
Matt.
okay, my biggest beef with a tablet as an illustrator, like I draw a lot, is that it's always too bright. It's always like trying to get you to do other things. There's always notifications coming up. So, as someone who just draws and would rather draw on a piece of paper, but then not have to scan it and then like have it on a computer in a different way, this would be amazing. So I'm sold. I think it's great. I'll wish list that for later.
There you go. We've already got someone who's going out and making a purchase today. Anybody else want to chime
Not
in
today, but
with a thought? Maybe
soon.
not today. Well, it's on the wish list. It's on the wish list, right? I always keep aspirational wish lists, books to read, and other things. Anybody else want to chime in with a thought about that? I will share that I don't know if you were in on last month where we used the SIFT super prompt and we analyzed Jonathan Haidt's contention that there is causation between the cell phone and all of this whole collection of harms that we've seen with self-destructive behavior in youth and depression and all these different things. And it really is interesting. I started working with schools with one-to-one computing in the early 2000s, and you know, the web has matured so much, devices have matured so much, but there have been a lot of unintended consequences, and I think in some cases, parents and other caregivers with good intention have thought, well, I'm just going to give this full phone, this full smartphone, this full tablet or whatever, this full access to the web, to my child or my grandchild. We all probably see it quite often when we go out to eat, and you'll see a young child, it's going to be, on their device or on a device. And I think that interrogating that and thinking about how we for ourselves and our families might be more intentional. I don't agree with Haidt that the solution is to just throw away all the tech in schools. He literally says, because he was on a webinar I was in recently, ban all smartphones until the kids are 16, and then things are going to be fine. And I think a little bit about some pastors' kids that I knew growing up, and some of them had some significantly constrained freedoms when they were in high school. And for some of those folks, things didn't go really well after high school, when they went to college. And so I think part of what we need to do as educators and parents is help, inoculate students to the kinds of bad choices or harmful choices or unhealthy choices that can be made. And it's a moving thing, right? All these screens and the changes, and it's happening so quickly. So I'm excited to see that. And I do, because all our kids do have iPads. And so I teach the kids how to use their stylus and create sketch notes. I think that sketching and what some people call transmediation, taking a media message, and putting it in another format is sort of like when you just write down notes, but when you draw it, when you create some other kind of media, I think that there can be some really good learning that goes with that. And so I would be excited to explore that. And I think that's something we probably need to study. Because again, my point is, I don't think throwing away the tech or banning the tech until age 16 or 18 or 21 is the answer. I think helping students in a developmentally appropriate way navigate the tech use, and for us as adults recognizing, like with AI, right? AI is not ready for the kids to just say, hey, kids, jump right into any of these tools and go for it. Even as adults, boy, it's tough. And this is why we're here. We're here to kind of go through those things. So, would anybody like to select another tool? Oh, Thomas put the Gab phones for kids. I can pull that one up. Oh, look, and he's got the link. Good. So here's Gab phone for kids. Ah, of course, it's the Cyber Week. Kids save phones and watches. Oh, is this a new one, Tom, that was not on the list, or was it on our
It
list?
was not on the list, but as you were talking about just handing over an iPhone to a kid, I just thought of
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
familiar with the Gab phones.
No, I hadn't.
That's
So it's just basically a limited phone and
yes,
watch too.
yeah, they're
Cool.
restricted on the number of contacts they can have and the number of I believe the number of websites they can go to. They can't just have access to
Yes.
the open web.
Wow. Thank you. That's fantastic. Well, I'm old enough. Our kids are, well, one's still in college and the other two are out, and they're all in their 20s. But, they kind of grew up on iPod touches. And so, with restrictions on the App Store and an iPod touch, that was a bit more of a limited device. But, anyway, there is no magic bullet, but that's fantastic to know about. I went ahead and dropped that in on um, the second sheet, the media literacy suggestions page. Pardon me. I'm going to go back to sharing the screen again. So I put it down here as the Gab phone. Let's take a look at what Notebook LM did with my other prompts because I went ahead and I didn't realize it would do this. I thought maybe it would let me like tell it a prompt before it started to create. I just clicked the slide deck and boom, it started creating a slide deck with all 100 and here, let's look at how many is in the comprehensive list. 118 items. It went ahead and started to create a slide deck. So well, here it is, the holiday, the holiday tech guide slideshow. Wow. All right. So, uh, huh. Let me see. I can download it. I can play it. I can share it. So let me. Oh, there it is. Okay. Copy. Okay. Copy link to slides. So I'm going to drop this into chat so that you can access this. Here's the link I just shared with you. So again, that's interesting. Did that give you, wonder if it just popped me back into the whole notebook. Okay, so now it has this as a slideshow and based on 6 sources. And it looks like there are 15 slides here. So gift guide overload, finding the signal in the noise. We analyzed the most authoritative guides from the Virgin New Yorker. We didn't just compile a list, we uncovered a story. So this is a synthesis, just like if we had asked for an audio interview, or sorry, not interview, an audio overview. This is a synthesis too. Oh, so it's identifying trends and what those products are. So trend 1 would be ambient wellness and put the Aura Ring, it didn't put that tablet on there. But keeping health in mind. Oh, okay. And maybe that's what all these are. So it did. So it lists the evidence of these that's a trend. And then it identifies what it thinks the best smart ring is. One of my students told me they have this. So it's especially monitoring their sleep, but it's blood oxygen and other things. I think unlike the Apple Watch or whatever you're gonna have to take off and charge, this thing is gonna remain charged a lot more. 7-day battery life. So you just have to charge it once a week. Um, $600, the Therabody TheraFlask TheraFace mask, red light therapy. Helping consumers look younger, improve skin, and even enhance sleep. All right, now this would be a good thing to use the super prompt for SIFT, right? This is an interesting claim that red light therapy is effective in doing this. So there's a health claim that would be really good to interrogate. Combines red light and vibration therapy. I don't know, is that legit or not? I would like to query that. So in terms of entertainment, this is a second trend. So switch to portable projectors headphones, gaming handhelds, and it's identifying the Nintendo Switch 2 as an outstanding choice based on the New Yorker, Tom's Guide, The Verge. Look how they included the icons here at the bottom. Again, this slideshow, 100% created by Notebook LM, and I can edit this and use this as a starting point, or, you know, as I'm doing now, I can just go ahead and show it. Portable projectors, interesting. I wonder how many lumens these have. I remember when these were like small, very expensive, and not very bright. $50 for the Inuosuma mini projector. Trend 3 is tech with taste. So technology is not just functional, but beautiful, tactful, thoughtfully designed. Here's a couple quotations from those articles, and then the citations for those items. And it's saying the Amazon Kindle Color Soft because e-ink is easier on the eyes. I don't know. I like that daylight computer that we were looking. I have a Kindle, not a color Kindle, but and then, yeah, look at this, the analog revival. In fact, did y'all know that the Commodore 64 has been, this is not on our list either, um, Commodore 64 Ultimate. If you're, depending on how old you are, you may remember this. This was the first computer I saw in school in seventh grade in probably 1982 or three. This is what we used in math class. And so they've put an ARM chip in this thing. And for $300, you can pick up an HDMI ARM chip powered Commodore 64 that you can program just as you would have back in the day. I will drop that. I'll drop that into our list here too. I'm thinking this might be a good activity to actually do with my students after the holidays, right? What kinds of tech gifts, sorry, I've got too many windows open here. What are the tech gadgets that found their way into either your room, your house, and then we, analyzing those. So, all right, and let's see, design for the home. Interesting. You have a daughter who's really into vinyl records. Oh, look at this. I'm really interested in this. I don't have a charger like this for my bedside, so this is interesting. The Belkin MagSafe 3-in-1 charger. My wife has something like that. All right, this is for me. That could be the one I'm most interested in having it surface because like this Santa, could have me request that one. Wool coasters. That's interesting. Why is a wool coaster? It's non-tech. The importance of tactile quality in the tech-focused home. Wool coasters. All right, I wouldn't have expected those. All right, and then we've got kind of a breakdown by price. So depending on your budget, if you want to stay under $50, I would definitely echo the AirTag. I had an experience flying to Denver for the Labor Day weekend when my luggage did not make it with American Airlines, and my AirTag showed exactly where it was, and I was able to get it out of the Charlotte airport because of my AirTag. So yeah, at $25, an AirTag put in your luggage can absolutely be priceless. I will vouch for that. And then here's the consensus. So, oh, this is interesting. So of those 6 different articles, here are the 6 things that are basically surfacing most common, but that are in common, that have more consensus. The Nintendo Switch 2, Aura Ring, Kindle in either color soft or Paperwhite, Pixel Watch for high-end headphones, and then this TheraMask. All right. And then the trend is taste. Wow. Okay. So I could go ahead and download that entire slideshow, which is 16.4 megabytes. If I go to, interesting, if I go to my Google Drive, I can go ahead and upload that file from my downloads. Oh, shoot, it's a PDF. Huh. I thought I would download it as a slideshow. Anyway, let's do some playtime. But then we can also do some sharing. If you have not opened up, in fact, and I'm going to pause our recording just for a minute to let people share and not be recorded. So let me hit pause. All right, so we are back after having a little bit of a discussion, and one of the things that we asked the notebook was we asked it about neurodivergent students and adults. Which products would be most useful or more useful to neurodivergent adults and students? And so we were exploring this timer, which is a bit like an egg timer and priced at a premium price. And there's an education version, and they've also got home versions. But anyway, we asked what of these 116 products, and so it identified a bunch of these. I want to ask a follow-up question, and so it's already filtered when I asked the question of um, the 10 which would be of most interest to a media literacy educator, these things. Okay, so these 10. I want to ask it specifically for me. So I'm a middle school media literacy teacher. What are the top 3 tools that could specifically, be of interest to me in my situation? So I'm gonna again ask that of the notebook down here at the bottom. Of these 10 items, which, of course, I can also copy and paste it. Choose the top 3 tools or gadgets you think would be most or specifically great to give as a gift for a middle school media literacy teacher. I don't know what it's going to say. Filtering, getting opinions, getting it to extract information. Certainly, and we'll let that go, and I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet. Even just being able to filter here, I'm filtering for price. I can go ahead and sort by category. Here's a cool thing that I think I can do. I'm going to go to data, and I'm going to choose to create a filter. Have you done this in the spreadsheet before? And so now you can filter and just show a single category. So if I want to clear this, I can say, just show me, let's see, the AI novelty items. There's none. Look at that. That's not very impressive. Maybe it didn't do a very good job. Huh. Okay, I may have to clean up my categories a little bit. But here are the gaming items. This is really cool from a literacy standpoint. I don't think, well, I'll just talk for myself. I don't think I teach kids spreadsheets enough and that we work in spreadsheets enough. And so being able to take real data like this and then query it, I mean, we can, query it with an AI tool, but just being able to query it to say, okay, show me all the gaming stuff. Of course, I don't need to take that AI novelty out. So don't show me AI novelty. All right, so here's the gaming stuff. Now let me go ahead and sort this by price. Okay, so the cheapest item that was a gaming, so I've got a gaming, someone who loves gaming in my world, and then this controller, which what they estimate was about $30. Okay, is highly rated. That's cool, right? And being able to filter that information. So that was just taking a spreadsheet and then adding a filter to a particular column. That's something I picked up here at some point. That's great. That's an awesome media literacy skill, I think, that we can talk. Let's go back and see what it says. All right, what did it say about the best for media literacy? It said the brick. Why this is a great gift. It's the most practical tool for teaching the concept of the attention economy. A middle school teacher deals constantly with students battling smartphone addiction. The brick is a physical plastic module that when tapped to a phone, oh, interesting, blocks distracting apps to force the user to disengage. It costs, what does it cost? Here's the source. This is interesting too, right? Being able to come in here to chat and click on where did it get its information? I've never heard of this brick. So maybe we should look at this. Okay, where is it?
It's a very interesting title because it's like bricking your phone, but intentionally.
Brick app review. Is it really worth it for writers? What is the brick? Phone scrolling and social media apps are estimated to cost the global economy 8.8 trillion. annually. The average US adult checks their devices 58 times per day. Of course, we should fact check this. All right. So, what is the Brick app? Brick was founded in 2023 by two friends from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Idea was simple, introduce a little friction to counter smartphone addiction. I wonder where the link is. Brick is nothing more than a simple 3D printed square with a magnetic backing instead of clicking a text prompt. So where's the website for it? Has anybody heard of this before?
Nope.
Huh. I don't know. I'm not sold at this point.
It's a strange name. It's very intimidating. A brick, if you think of a red brick, it's
Uh-huh.
heavy, it's
Well,
solid.
when something gets bricked, like that usually means like in technology terms, when you brick something, it's you broke it. Like it broke.
Yeah,
It
Oh,
won't
right.
function
I didn't
anymore.
know what the word meant in that
In
connotation.
that
Okay.
context, yeah. So but it's still aggressive, just like you said, because it's like a violent sort of like you killed it, but only
Yep.
temporarily.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Tom beat me to the to the punch. So
Mm.
getbrick.app. So how often? Oh, of course. Put in your email address. This is important from a media literacy standpoint, right? The more we put our emails into these systems, the more spam we receive. Wow. Okay. I do not know that I am sold on the brick.
It got good reviews, but who knows who wrote them,
Oh, right.
right? You
Well,
know how that goes, Wes.
I do. I do. Well,
I know, I know.
I think this is actually kind of fun, and being able to work with data in this way using a tool like Notebook LM or another AI tool to make a data table, and then using that data, we could, and we didn't do this today, but we could have collaboratively, you know, made the table better, put the links in. We could have had our ratings. We could add like 1 to 5 ratings. There's just a whole host of things that we can do. So, I don't know. Are you ready to go holiday shopping now? Do you feel better equipped? No, maybe not. But I do think that tablet's cool. And I think that, this whole idea of awareness, I don't know. I would say that the awareness about specific tech gadgets is less important today than the media literacy skills that can be surfaced in this kind of an inquiry. So being able to use a tool like Notebook LM, I will try and find the phrase because I don't think it's not at the tip of my tongue, but there is a phrase that maybe y'all can Google it, which describes this process of building your own library of information and then querying that, not just telling the large language model, hey, tell me about Romeo and Juliet, but here with these 6 articles, I want you to, pull this out. I think that is an important skill to develop ourselves and to help our students develop. And there are, of course, a whole range of different media literacy issues that can be, raised and surfaced with this. But
Wes, the one thing that I'm looking that price for that little square thing,
oh
that's
yeah,
a fortune. That's a
yeah,
fortune. But I'm wondering, this is mainly geared, the tech stuff is geared toward people that have money.
sure, of
If
course.
you're low income, you're out of luck. And in some ways, what it's saying to me is we're not bringing people up. We're leaving them in these, back where they've been. And it's pretty sad, you know.
And I think that helping raise awareness about our consumer economy and about the ways in which, a consumer-facing um, economy can, um, you know, there's a whole host of different issues around that. Hey, Randall put this in. Thank you so much, Randall. There it is. Retrieval augmented generation. So there is the current English Wikipedia article for it. It is a technique that enables large language models to retrieve and incorporate information. You have to refer to a specified set of documents. So that is basically what we did in this session by creating this Notebook LM set of resources and then talking about them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it again. We have successfully had another Media Education Lab session. So thank you for joining us for Holiday Tech Gadget Wish Lists. We will be posting soon the topic for our January and February sessions. There is a very, very exciting, and I looped him in on the email, game that has been developed up in the Northwest, and on Monday for the technology, it's called Tip Teachers. They're associated with the University of Washington and the Center for an Informed Public. They've agreed to come on and do a webinar with us. So that it's a game, it's an analog game, but it's to help kids be able to get a better sense of these different actors in the information environment and what the motivations are and sort of what we're all up against as we've got these, devices in our hands and screens in our faces. So I don't have that on the website yet, but that is going to be coming in January. And then I'm pretty sure the February session will be a Substack 101. Substack is a emerging platform. I use it as part of my digital newspaper, ways to subscribe to different folks. And so those are the two sessions that'll be coming. But if you've got an idea for a session or just a topic, please reach out to me. Let me know. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. I hope you're able to take a break and rest, find time to, not just be consumed by the news feed and the online sales feed. There's all kinds of things going on, but it's wonderful to be able to connect with you all. And again, just keep checking the events page for the Media Education Lab, and we'll hope to see you again at a Media Ed Club meeting or another event with the Media Education Lab.
Wes, it used to
Awesome.
be